Hello, hello, hello. This is your brother, the Keeper of the Jewels. I have the pleasure of having this title from the late legendary Dick Gregory for my commitment to our culture and collecting over 15,000 pieces of original American history artifacts from a black perspective. So, because of that, in my collecting over 15,000 pieces, it makes me an expert in our black history and our culture. So, what I'll be sharing with you with the Keeper of the Jewels podcast is actually my knowledge and the stories behind our collections in my overall collection, and also just inspiration from our history, from my life, and also pieces from the collection. So this will be your space for Black history and culture and everything else in between. The history that we glean from it, the strength to be able to build our self confidence, our self awareness, and our self realization. So that's what you can expect from the podcast. First thing I guess I need to tell you is who I am. Um, my name is Eric Majette. I am originally from Long Branch, New Jersey. I am a film and I'll say entertainment veteran. I reside in Atlanta now. My day job actually is pretty cool. I've been with this little company called Tyler Perry Studios on and off for 19 years. It has been absolutely amazing. I also am I guess you can say, a serial entrepreneur. I have built companies. I have one company, my very first company actually, Majestic Entertainment Group, was a celebrity booking agency. I'm learning in this phase of my life it's okay to let some things go. I've been holding on to that brand for a long time because that was my first company. I'm actually built that 17 years ago. And I have to be okay with letting that go to be able to move forward with the things that I'm going to be moving forward with in this season. So, celebrity booking agency. I'm an author of three books. The first one is this business called Living a Refill When the Well Runs Dry. My second book is my first children's book, which is The Keeper of the Jewels: Adventures at Willie Falls, which is a an amazing adventure that I had actually when I first went over to Ghana for the first time myself in 2021. And that is just my adventure at the tallest waterfall in West Africa. And then my third book is actually The Keeper of the Jewels, 20, 20 the 20 top sacred black sites across the country. And those are my top three books right now. And I am a lover of our history. I've been collecting black history for 32 years, actually, since I was 8 years old. My very first introduction to it was as I had a pretty famous pen pal at the age of 8. Lena Horne, the legendary Lena Horne, activist and entertainer, was my very first pen pal. She was based in Harlem, New York, and I lived in New Jersey. And I found her in the phone book, and we became pen pals from there. I would write her and would call her, and in return, she would return correspondence. So she did a couple one-woman shows on Broadway, and she sent me some of her signed memorabilia. And I sent her, back then it was a self-addressed stamped envelope with a 3.5 by 5 card, or several of them, and had her sign them. And that was kind of my introduction to collecting. From there, over the last 32 years, I have collected some of the most amazing artifacts that tell American history from a black perspective. And that is one of the things that makes me unique. And also, that makes me an expert because I have literally spent 32 years collecting these unique and absolutely priceless artifacts. And it allows me to tell you stories and give you insight on what it took to acquire these things, and actually bring these items back into black ownership. So that is what I stand for. That is what my love and my passion is. And most importantly, this podcast will allow me to bring some of that history to you. Because of my day job, I have very, very limited time now. As I said, I've worked for Tyler Perry on and off for the last 19 years. I'm back at the studio and currently am on the executive path. So right now my time is limited. So I had to try to decide what was going to make the most impact for the least amount of time that I have right now in this season. And that was this mode. That was the podcast. So the podcast is a way that I could reach and maximize my reach so that I can bring you guys the jewels. All the years that I've spent collecting, studying, researching, now I can lessen your time and your learning curve on knowing what's been suppressed now, what is strategically and systematically being suppressed across this country, and what we need to actually build up our confidence and our awareness of who we are. Once we realize who we are from what we've already accomplished, nobody can tell us that we're less than. And we can actually level the playing field and no longer ask for rights. We can assert them because we know who we are and what we've accomplished. So that is the goal of my podcast. The Keeper of the Jewels podcast is to inspire, to motivate, to educate, and most of all, to build self awareness of who you are by what you have accomplished culturally that has influenced the world over. So, this is the initial podcast or the introduction to the podcast. And I cannot wait to explain to you more of and expose to you more of who I am. On the podcast, I will be covering, my day-to-day life. I'll let you in on my personal life, my professional life, and my entrepreneur life. These are three aspects of me that I really believe that people want to know who are following, and personally that could really impact and to encourage those to step out of their comfort zones and to follow their passion wholeheartedly, full speed ahead. So this is just an introduction. There's so much to cover. Just to kind of give you an insight into the my actual collection, I have the immense pleasure of being who Dick Gregory named the Keeper of the Jewels. So that is the introduction, as I said, that I really want you to know. I had the five amazing definitive collections. The first one is the definitive Marcus Garvey collection, Malcolm X collection, Martin Luther King, Madam C.J. Walker, and Annie Malone and Poro College. These are my definitive collections where no institution, place, or thing, any noun on the planet could actually touch because my collection really tells their comprehensive story from pretty much start to finish. These are things that I'm going to be excited to tell you, but also my collection spans centuries. I have maps that are original 15th century maps of Africa that expand to the most contemporary, my black music collection that consists of gold and platinum RIAA records, and as well autographs, everything you can think of pertaining to black music. And that is the breadth of everything and has everything you can think of, pretty much anybody you can think of in black history. So it's a pleasure that I'm going to be able to share everything that I know and really feels on my heart to share with us so that we can grow together, so that we can expand our knowledge of self and really push self-determination, because if we know who we are, we won't accept anything less from anybody else. We'll no longer be asking for rights. We'll be asserting them and becoming who we are that God has created, and knowing that and moving through this planet as such. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to have your ear. Again, my name is Eric Majette, and I am the Keeper of the Jewels.